What's going on? It's your boy B. I'm just kind of confused. Is Sexy Red an official wrestler now? Is Walk-Ons going to be discontinued? And the Negro League. What's going on with these stats updates? Let's see. Stay tuned. I'm going to keep you updated with all the news. These are the breaks. Let's go.
These are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
What's going on? It's your boy B, and you tune into the breaks. I'm just going to tell you right now, buckle your seatbelt. This is going to be a crazy show. Let's get started. Quick breaks. I'm just going to take you around the world of a lot of things that's been going on. First things first, Sexy Red. If you missed it last night, Sexy Red was on NXT Wrestling, and I'm going to tell you right now, Sexy got it going. It was the most entertaining wrestling thing I have seen. If you've seen Whoop That Trick Williams, he was there, and she was with them, and just having Sexy Red there just lets you know that wrestling is for the black culture. I know for myself personally, right? I used to try to choke slam anybody I can get my hands on. Or you was getting the Stone Cold Stunner or the People's Elbow. So it's bringing that rich history back to the young folks and just letting you know that wrestling is not going to the wayside. It's actually going to be fun. And I think that, Triple H and Shawn Michaels got it right, especially Shawn Michaels. He runs NXT, and he's keeping it as fun and live as possible. So if y'all missed it, go on YouTube, check your TV guide to see if you can replay it back. But Sexy Red was on there, and she was doing it, and Booker T made it even better. Every time she twerked, you could feel like Booker T caught a boner or he jumped out his chair or something. He was going crazy for it. It was ridiculous. Next thing up, Dodgers last night, not one, but two. I'm just so tongue-talking. It was on all day long. Bye. They took care of the New York Mets in New York. The Dodgers was looking kind of sluggish in the first header with Tyler Glasnow. He was struggling a little bit, but they finished that game 5-2. And then they quickly whooped ass to the next one 3-0.
Winner!
So the Dodgers kind of turned that narrative around and got right back on track in the winning column. So that's good to see. SEC has announced the coaches, they all came in unison, all together, kumbaya session, saying, hey, they do not want to get rid of walk-ons. Now, you're probably thinking, B, what are you talking about walk-ons? Walk-ons are players that necessarily, can go to any school, Alabama, whatever. They're literally going to try out for the team during springtime. Now, mind you, this trial is pretty not guaranteed, right? You're a walk-on. You have no scholarship. But the fun thing about walk-ons is that teams, after they see a roster spots, they usually are allocated a certain amount of money to use for a scholarship, or they have additional funds and stuff like that. But if you haven't been in the news, the Power 5 conferences got to pay out money since 2016 for players and gaining players and using players' likeness and all that. So a lot of teams don't know where this money is going to be pulled from, and they don't want to lose that tradition of having walk-ons, because I can tell you right now, some of your best players, some players that are actually in the NFL, some of them were walk-ons, right? They didn't get opportunity right off the bat, but they were walk-ons. And if you're looking at it, this trickle effect of, like I said, of paying out money for players to use this, NIL's deal for this and that, it's going to take away the fun of some things that, some people say it's not really fun, but yeah, being a walk-on is pretty fun. It creates that competition base. I feel like competition is definitely going to die down because it's going to go to the highest bidder, and that's going to be kind of lopsided in the football world if a team is running a higher salary and stuff like that. People might argue with me, hey, put salary caps on it. In a minute, what the fuck do we need college for? If you keep making all these regulations and changes, this shit just reminds me of a big AAU ball. That's all I'm saying. Also updates in NHL, the AHL, which is the minor league teams of the NHL, said they're going to keep the Roadrunners in Arizona. So that's a big plus for Arizona. If you wasn't paying attention to the NHL, the Arizona Coyotes are no longer Coyotes in Arizona. They're moving to Utah. The team was sold to the Utah Jazz owner, and they went ahead and moved over to Utah. So now Arizona's like, hey, what about us? We don't have no hockey team. What you do? You have the minor league team, which is going to play about 30 games there.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool that they can still see some hockey in Arizona until they figure it out and get another another team out there to take care of business. But for right now, be happy with that. Another good thing, let's go ahead and pivot back to college.
Bye-bye.
11, and I'm talking about the SEC again, 11 SEC teams was selected for the baseball tournament. I'm just going to name a few. Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Florida, Texas A&M, and the University of Kentucky, just to touch on a few. And that's pretty exciting, right? That one conference, 11 teams, was pulled into the baseball tournament. And now if you're probably thinking, B, why does this even matter? This is fun to see. 11 SEC teams battling out to try to win the whole thing. Right, I know a lot of people don't pay attention to baseball, but this is where your young talents is coming, young pitchers, a few different teams, and I would say this specifically in the state of Louisiana, Grambling is in the tournament, right? Out there with LSU, that's pretty big. Having Grambling in the tournament, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna be some exciting baseball to see. What else is going on? Monaco, if you missed it, if you don't know what Monaco is, that's down there with the Formula F1, right? It's a big race out there in Monte Carlo, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's crazy, right? You see, it's money on the floor out there. And if you missed the race, it was a very beautiful race. Me, myself, I'm just waiting for Infanity TV to cash the check. You hear me crying because I'm waiting for it, right? So I can go to Monaco. We can go to Monaco, right? This camera that I'm looking at can go to Monaco. I want the whole team to go to Monaco because I just want to throw dollars from a yacht to say I did it. That's all I want to do. That's it. That's all, right? And before we go, WNBA, there's some drama out there, right? And this is the drama that I love to see. The WNBA is players fed up with how things are being covered. And if you're thinking about it, you're probably thinking like what they're fed up about, right? They're getting a lot of recognition and stuff like that. It's not that. It's the media that keeps pushing this Caitlyn Clark agenda on folks that the fans now are tired. And because the fans are tired, who they taking it out on? The players. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is the most monumental thing for the game of the WNBA.
Owie!
But I feel like a lot of energy is being redirected in the wrong direction. And I'm just going to tell you right now, you got to be ready for the criticism. This is going to be the most scrutinized, criticized WNBA season by far. The reason being is because you see all these lights keeping me lit right now because we have to pay these bills.
Okay.
The lights are on you to make the league jump. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not only pressure on the players, it's on pressure on the league to get it right. But hey, league, I'm going to tell you one thing that you're missing out on. You're missing out on stories, narratives, right? You keep pushing the Caitlyn Clark agenda, but you're missing out on other rivalries that can spark it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Caitlyn Clark's team is not going to make it to the playoffs. They stink. But there's other teams you can highlight on that can definitely make it to the playoffs, and you got to start highlighting those because when you stop during the Olympics, you can't keep pushing the Caitlyn Clark agenda after the Olympics when we can clearly see the Indiana Fever is not going nowhere. Start pushing those other narratives so people can stay in tune and in tap with what's going on in the W. That's all I got to say. But what we're going to do right now, we're done with these quick breaks. We're going to park it right here.
And
these are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
Profanity Nation.
A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Welcome back. It's your boy Beef, and you tune into the breaks. You already know what it is. It's time for the NBA. It's time for that fast break, fast moving game that we all love, and it's almost time for the finals. June 6th, mark your calendars, folks. It's going to be the NBA finals, and we're trying to figure out who's going to be there, right? We kind of know already who's going to be there from the Eastern Conference. Is going to be the Boston Celtics. Now, you're probably thinking, why the dramatics, right? You heard the boom in the background. Let's break this down. The boom is necessarily coming from one team and one team only, Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay.
The people already know. If the Lakers can see a team fall, it would definitely be the Boston Celtics at a high rate. Why? Because they're tied for the most championships in the NBA. The Lakers are crying as we're speaking right now because if Boston wins, they stanky ass is number 2. You can call the cops all you want to. I'm just going to let it be known. The Lakers stink. And they're going to always stink. You don't know why? Because they can keep climbing to the mountaintop. But they're not going to get there as it's going. So, let's look at the other team that's got kicked out. The Indiana Pacers, who was swept. But if you're thinking about it, they got some decisions to make, right?
Bye-bye.
Siakam is up for a contract extension. We got to see necessarily how this is going to go. They have a plethora of guards, and they're necessary. I feel like they just need 1 or 2 pieces to push them over the mountaintop. So if we're looking at it, I think some pieces can definitely be moved in regards to it. We just got to wait and see how that is going to play itself out. And as we're starting to talk about teams and movements and stuff like that, let's also go down the rumor mill. Paul George. Paul George is due for an extension. There has been reported that Paul George wants the max, which will be 200 plus, and I'm going to tell you, fuck that. He cannot get that from me. You want to know why? Because PG has not showed up in the playoffs when I needed him to. He did show up the year when we got to the Western Conference. Shit, Kawhi hasn't showed up. I'm honestly thinking, why is the Clippers paying so much money for hopes and dreams? It's simple. The Clippers got to open up a new arena, so technically they need to bring back Paul George. But let's think for a moment. If Paul George walks, where would he go? The answer is the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, if I'm saying that, you're probably thinking of a team that's going to be riddled with injuries. Damn near might be. We know Embiid record of health is not good. We know Paul George record of health is not good. But they have Terrence Maxey, and he is the one that's probably going to carry the load when it comes to it. So if he walks, the word on the street is that, DeMar DeRozan might be a piece for the Clippers to look at. See me? Looking at DeMar DeRozan's health history, I think he'd be on the floor more than anybody else.
Okay.
That could be something to look at. The Clippers also need to evaluate what the hell you're going to do with Bones Highland. That could be another piece you can start using. So it's a lot of things on the rumor mill that's going around in circles and all these rigmaroles up and down. We just got to figure out what the fuck is finna take place. That's why you tune into the breaks. That's why I'm here for, to keep you updated with that. Rudy Gobert is a fraud. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, is the biggest fraud I have seen in the history of the NBA. He has to go. I never seen someone get cooked repeatedly. He got cooked by Terrence Mann. He got cooked by Luka Doncic. He got cooked by the man in the hibachi truck. He just flat out stinks. And it's mind-boggling to me that they keep voting for him. I feel like there's other defenders, right? Now, Beef, let's be realistic. Is anyone susceptible to the 2020 step back? Of course. But I haven't seen someone that's so just destroy himself in the playoffs. He doesn't show up. All regular season, he's a fucking Hell in a Cell match, right? He gets to the playoffs, right? And he turns into the little engine that could not. He can't do shit right. He just can't play defense, can't rebound, can't block a shot. I've never seen a 7'3" individual that is getting his shot blocked by someone under 7 feet. He's getting dunked on by Lively and Gafford at such a high clip that they're calling the Mavericks the Lob City. Like it's crazy. And it needs to be rectified. Even though Minnesota won last night, the series is still 3-1. And it's crazy for me to sit here and think, hey, they're going to do better in Minnesota. Not when you have Rudy Gobert. He's a liability out of this world, and he's a fraud. Stop voting for him going forward with the Defensive Player of the Year. Stop it. We can find somebody else. Don't give it to him again. Please, for goodness sake. All right? Hey, before we continue the show, I want to just take a moment before, we transition and things like that. I want to give a big shout out to Bill Walton. He necessarily passed away over a few days ago. And the reason why I'm giving him a big shout out, I have never seen an individual whose personality light up the room as soon as that camera came on. An individual that attended, the University of UCLA, played for the Portland Trail Blazers, won a championship there, won a championship with the Boston Celtics, and also played for the Clippers. Clippers went ahead and put out a statement about him. When I tell you this man here was a commentator for college basketball, and he can light up a room with his analogies and just off the Richter scale. He also was a commentator for the Los Angeles Clippers and things like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, y'all send out your prayers to the Walton family because, Bill was a hell of a guy, and it's just sad to see him go, man. So we're just going to go ahead and take a moment for that in regards to that. Now, before I go to break, I also want to touch on some breaking news. LeBron James' son, Bronny, has announced that he had 10 workouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Canceled. All of them but 2. Lakers and Suns. Bronny, what are we doing? What are we doing? Is that an indication that LeBron is going to Phoenix? I don't get it. I don't get it. Bronny, just go to all 10 workouts. Do what you need to do. There's no slander for you. Just go through the process. Go through the grind. You're not the number 1 of a draft pick. So let's work it out. See what else is going on. And, of course, you don't need to go nowhere else. But I got to go pay some more bills, y'all. When I come back, we're going to go straight into the NFL. And then we get to talk about the Negro League because I'm going to tell you right now, them racisms out there is in an uproar. See you in a moment.
And these are the breaks.
These are the breaks. You know what it is.
Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation. a podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss, raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Welcome back. It's your boy Beef, and you tuned into The Breaks. You already know what it is. We are 99 days away from the NFL. So right now it's OTAs, and it's not looking too good for the Cincinnati Bengals. No Chase, no Higgins. We got Joe though. It's a sight to see. It's early, right? We just gonna, I'm gonna create the narrative. Is there trouble in Cincinnati? I think there is no trouble. Just players gotta sort things out, figure it out, and things like that. All hell is breaking loose out there in Dallas, weather and things like that. But they're also on the news in regards to Michael Thomas, that they're interested in signing Michael Thomas to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you're not familiar with this man's game, his game is slants. He's a slant man. He has been exposed as a slant man. He don't like being called a slant man, but goddamn it, I'm gonna call him a slant man. And if he don't run them slants out there, Dak Prescott is not gonna throw it to him. So, hey, Dallas, if you sign him, hey, good job. But Dallas, you still stink. The conference is still run by Philly, and that's all I'm gonna say. Big stinkers. Hey. Ravens, tight end Andrews is happy that the drop rule is finito, done. You're probably thinking, why is he so happy about it? He's happy about it because he was injured by it. So, if something that injured me is now gone, I'm going to be ecstatic about it, which he is ecstatic about it. So, you know what? Hey, good for him, but it's going to be kind of hard to catch them drop rules live in person. So, let's see how that goes. And lastly, Texans, Nico Collins went ahead and signed an extension for $7.25 million. Hey, good job for him, because if you know about the Houston Texans, you know about him. So I'm glad that he's getting paid. He's getting his money, and it's a good sight to see in regards to that. So let's transition. Let's go ahead and go out to my breakout room. It's a lot going on in my breakout room, and it's going to have to do with the Negro League. Negro League and MLB, right? It has been reported that the Negro League stats is to be officially integrated into the MLB historical record. Now, you're probably thinking, why does this matter? And let's just take the gloves off. Can I get a bell real quick, please? Because this is going to be a fight match for the dear ages. Ding, ding. It's on the Kraken. The Negro League. Racism. Now, you're probably thinking, I got some history for you, right? The MLB started roughly around 1876, 1901. You throw your tomato on the floor, tomato, whatever. Negro League started in 1920, right? First player getting called up was 1947 by Jackie Robinson. Now, you're probably thinking, why does this matter? It fucking matters. There wouldn't be no Major League Baseball without the Negro League. Right? The only reason we had the Negro League is because of segregation. Y'all wouldn't let us play in the major leagues to beat your ass. Because that's what really it boils down to, right? Because even when the Negro League, those players were officially called up, right? They embarrassed those players in the major league. And they were older at the time because they spent most of their years playing in the Negro League. I'm just going to throw some statistics on the floor, right? Since we got this update going on, right? Josh Gibson will now become MLB single leader in the following categories, right? Batting average, 466 in 1943. Slugger percentage, 974 in 1937. And then OPS will be 1.474 in 1937. That's on base percentage. That is outstanding for Joe Gibbs, right? Gibson, I'm sorry about that. And let's talk about some other players that would just be updated, right? Satchel Paige boosted his wins to 125 with his 28 in Negro League victories, right? Momentum. Jackie Robinson, 49 hits with the Kansas City Monarchs, raises his hit total to 1,567. Crazy, right? Mays, his hit total goes to 3,293. It's up 10 with his stats from his 1947 season with the Birmingham Black Barons. It just shows you, right, that integrating historical events matter, right? We can talk about Babe Ruth and all these fucking white heroes all you want to, but really the meat potatoes was in the Negro Leagues. And if we're saying, hey, y'all had a head start and I started in 1920 and I'm literally just can beat your ass all these years later, it just shows that you were not only intimidated, you were afraid, right? Even when Jackie Robinson got to the MLB, y'all was still segregating and still trying to shun him from playing because y'all were afraid. The athletic ability that an African-American holds scared the shit out of you. And it's still scaring the shit out of you today. I think the league now turned to Dominican, so they're scaring the shit out of you. But if you're looking at this is big for history, right? We keep a lot of people, racist people say, why does this matter? This shouldn't even matter. Like, they got their league. They should have 2 separate books. Why should we have 2 separate books if you never let me in the first book to begin with? Because I guarantee if you let me in the first book to begin with, all the history that you got in there written will be rewritten from the jump, right? You made me work hard to prove myself. Now I prove myself. And you trying to shut me out from that. It's the most backwards ideology I've ever seen from a group of individuals. Not calling all them all out, but I'm just calling them out. Right? I don't have to say no names because if you listen to what I'm saying, you know who that group is. It started with a hard R. They don't like things seasoned. That should let you know the red flag right there. But this is a big movement, right? We have now get our due justice, right? And given the Negro League its proper voice. It's like I've never seen something that has been deleted altogether, right? And I'm comparing tomatoes to miles, but I'm just throwing an example on the floor, right? You got the NBA and the ABA, right? Even though the ABA was absorbed by the NBA, it's so much rich history in the ABA that the NBA actually absorbed teams from there and put them in the NBA, right? Same thing with MLB. Even though they didn't take none of the teams because all the teams were Negro Leagues, but I guarantee you that an MLB franchise is somewhere within these cities. And you can look at them as minor league teams. It's just crazy to say that we are finally getting our due justice in a game that didn't want us there from the beginning with. Now we're sitting at the top of the throne. Job well done. Hey, it's been your boy, Beef, on another episode of The Breaks, man. Hey, please follow me at Leave It to Beef 31 on all platforms. And also, tune in to Sparks Weekly, man. They're going to give you all the updates for the W. And also, hey, when it comes time, tune into my guys at Profanity Nation. They keep you updated with the Lakers. And tune in with me. Full clip, Clippers Unleashed. You know what time it is. See you next week.